Year 2025. You begin the year with Jupiter in your sign, a transit that has accompanied you since the previous year and that has helped you to count on greater confidence in your abilities to find alternative answers to events, especially difficult ones. Certainly, with Saturn and Neptune opposed, it must not have been easy to navigate insecurities, doubts, family problems. The good news is that Saturn, between June and August, will spend a short period in Aries, a real relief for your sign. However, in September the planet will return to Pisces, asking you for a final effort of awareness if you belong to the third decade. If there are situations to resolve, decisions to ponder, problems to face, the last part of the year is the opportunity to change some situations and possibly leave the past behind you. The conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in Aries, active in the summer period, is in fact an invitation to open up to the future, to rewrite a new chapter in your life. So get ready, because when Saturn, next year, definitively moves into Aries, it will be easier for you to implement some life changes. All that remains is to talk about Pluto and Uranus, two planets that will support your choices and your desire to change, especially if you are a May. Thanks to greater personal confidence, charisma, and a sense of self-efficacy, the leap up is ready to be taken. With only one goal, to be happy. Love and Eros. How will love go in 2025 for your sign? It will be a positive year, full of news, or in any case decidedly better than the previous one. In February, the entry of Venus into Aries will be a very respectable protection for matters of the heart. New interests, new acquaintances, a super passionate love story are the gifts that the goddess of love has in store for you. The first months of this 2025 will, therefore, be very dynamic, and this is also true if you are in a relationship. Since Venus is in a fire sign, its support will also prove essential to bring passion back to a relationship that has faded or to experience intense and beautiful emotions with a new person. A flirt, however, for some of you could turn into a more important relationship. Saturn confirms this, which, from the end of May to the end of August, will make its first appearance in Aries, a transit that is favorable to the consolidation or renewal of a promise. Saturn, however, if you belong to the third decade, will be in a dissonant position to your Sun, so your situation will be a little different than that of the other decades. How does Saturn against translate in practice? With greater responsibilities within a relationship, or with the realization that a relationship no longer has anything to offer. Keep in mind that when Saturn is involved, the same things as before, behaviors, habits, vicious circles, no longer work. Work and realization. It won't just be Saturn and Uranus that will determine the course of your 2025, but also the eclipses that, involving the professional sector of your personal horoscope and the opposite one, will push for important and fundamental changes. Some of these changes will be a bit unpredictable, and maybe they won't be exactly what you had in mind, but in the long run they will prove positive. Of course, if the job you do no longer satisfies you, or if you have been thinking for some time about revolutionizing your life and changing the usual circuits, this year you could really make some revolutionary choices. In concrete terms, a transfer, a change of role, new directions, or even a radical change, such as an entrepreneurial activity. Uranus will give you the push, which between July and November will ask you to take the first important steps towards greater freedom and autonomy. Therefore, a truly eventful phase of your life is looming, which could also extend to your private life, obviously. To get the best out of a Uranus transit, however, you will have to think outside the box, think differently, focus on originality rather than ordinariness. If you belong to the third decade, however, with Saturn in quadrature, you will have to be a little more cautious with relationships with authority and in bureaucratic fiscal matters. The planet, among other things, could also be responsible for some financial fluctuations, so it would be better to limit unnecessary expenses and impulsive purchases. Body and mind. With Saturn against you, 2025 could start with a little discouragement due to the feeling that some situations are still a little uncertain, confused, precarious. Yet slowly, and to your great relief, your astral picture will improve and in a surprising way. Many planets, in fact, will take turns to lend you a hand, rekindling hope, the taste for experimentation, the desire to play. The first input comes from Ven. Air that in February enters Aries, where it will last until early June, and that will help you recognize your sex appeal and regain confidence in your charm, if you had doubts. The second comes from Mars that in mid-April moves into Leo, a transit that will translate into physical strength, energy, determination, muscle tone. The month of May will be wonderful, when both Venus and Mars will be in an excellent trine aspect, favoring not only the physical form, but also the sentimental sphere. In that period, you will want to seduce, to conquer, to discover new horizons of physical pleasure. Between June and August, Saturn and Neptune will be in conjunction in Aries, a transit that for the first decades will be very positive because it will inaugurate a more stable and serene phase of your life. In September, however, Saturn will return to Pisces, so if you belong to the third decade, you will have to take more care of your health and monitor your thoughts, since the planet could fuel the tendency to the very bad. In the last 4 months of the year, it is better to limit yourself with alcohol, night outs, and excesses, favoring instead a balanced diet and rest for the body and mind.